What's up, everybody? We're back again. It's episode 295 of the Dad Bod Golf Pod. It's Kyle and Ben. We're back again, and we're ready to talk some golf, talk some Ryder Cup, talk some FedEx Cup standings, all the good stuff that's going on and upcoming. But before we do that, I'll let you know that tonight's episode is brought to you by Bet Online, the number one sports betting website in the country. Sign up today. Use coupon code BLEAV. BLEAV and get a 50% welcome bonus. Give them $100. They're going to give you 50 back free to play with. Have a blast. You got football season coming up. Get your account set up. Get your account ready. Start hitting some future lines. Getting ready to have a lot of fun. Because nothing's more fun during football season than just
Then
slap
losing money.
then getting some action on a Tuesday and slapping it, stacking it to your chest, and let's go.
Oh, Kyle, it's week 0 this week, man. They got like
Yes.
actual college football this weekend.
Week zero betting. Get your account set up. Bet online. It's where the game starts. Okay, Ben. I think the biggest talk right now is will he or won't he? Will he or won't he?
Yes.
And what do I mean by that? Brooks Koepka, just based off the sheer fact that he does not play but 4 PGA events. Oh, I say PGA events, 4 events that are counted towards his Ryder Cup points. He just barely slides out of the auto qual 6 picks. So close. I mean, it's so close that it's within 29 points. Okay. I'm talking Xander Schauffele is at 9,450. Brooks Koepka is at 9,421, which is incredible because he only played in 4 events that counted. Now, granted, all of those events, he got more points because of his high finishes with the win at the PGA Championship, the T2 at the Masters, the T17 at the U.S. Open, and then, he had a whatever performance at the Open, but he slides out. So now what happens? What does Zach Johnson do? Does Zach Johnson have the balls not to pick Brooks Koepka? That's the question I want to ask.
I don't think he has to have the balls not to pick him because I did a little deep dive in this. I think he cannot pick him and show good reason why. Because in the month of August, he has been atrocious. July and August. He finished in his live event at the first part of July, T17. After that, T38 twice, one of which times he shot 7 over par in his last live tournament that took place at Trump National in Bedminster. And then his, of course, last appearance in front of PGA folks was the Open, and he did T64 and finished 8 over on that tournament. I think Zach Johnson could legitimately say, he ain't playing real good golf right now, so I'm not picking him.
It's pretty ballsy.
Are you still wanting to go fight him? You still, if he doesn't pick him?
If he doesn't pick him, I mean, I've already said what I'm doing. I'm going one hardcore Euro. I'm going all Euro.
Kyle tweeted that earlier, and of course, just like I did with Nate the time before, I sent him a meme calling him a traitor if he does that.
There's no
doubt. I didn't call you un-American. I just called you a traitor.
I'm going to be I will be so very. Has there ever been a champion of the PGA of America who did not play in the PGA of America's Ryder Cup? Is that possible? Like, has that ever happened?
I don't know.
In the year that there was the Ryder Cup in the same year.
Yeah. There's no way that's happened. Not to mention he finished. Oh, he did okay. I mean, the Ryder Cup's every couple of years. He did okay, even in the PGA events the year before that he was able to play in. So I'm with you. I think you should pick him. I think he has enough leverage over the last month and a half of play that Brooks has put as far as performance wise out there that he can say, he's just not playing. It's, it's like I told you, it's the same thing with the Lucas Glover situation. He's got enough tape to go, yeah, he won 2, but
he's got no tape. No, you can't. I mean, first of all, let's just call it what it is. He's probably not incredibly motivated in the live golf event. So it's impossible to be, it's just impossible to be like incredibly motivated to turn that fire on. And then he made 4 cuts, won 1, tied for second, really should have won the first two.
Yeah. Yeah, he could have won.
Then had a top 20 and then had a top 20 at the US Open. I don't know, man. I just don't think if we're doing that, there's several golfers we can pick from that should be out. What's Brian Harman done since the Open? What have some of these other guys done that are auto qual? Patrick Cantlay, like what have they done since that? Wyndham Clark. What about Wyndham Clark? What's Wyndham Clark done since he won won 2 tournaments early, US Open, and then like the fortnight or something like what has he done? What has he done since then? Like if that's the route we want to go, JT is for sure out. JT better not even be allowed to come to Rome.
Yeah, that is going to be where I do want to fight him. And I told you I've been a big JT proponent. If he picks JT and he does not pick Brooks Koepka, then I've got a huge issue.
I'm going to Iowa and I'm whooping some egg. I don't know if he's from there, but he seems like
he is from there. I don't think he still lives there now, but he's from there. He's from there. I mean, he still goes to the Iowa Hawkeye football game, so he's got a vested interest in it. I will say this: I think this is because of this live situation and the way you see these standings shake out. Yeah, I think that the Americans need to revamp the way they pick picks anyway. And I'm not saying that the European way is the way to do it, but the fact that Will Zalatoris is up there in the top 20 makes absolutely zero sense to me. Because that dude ain't even playing right now.
He must have had a bunch of wins early.
He had some top 10s because, this qualifying starts not just this year of. And he had some top 10s, but then, he's re-injured and he's still hanging around up there at the top 20. And it's like, what are we doing? Like, if you're on IL, you just ought to be disqualified. Like, I'm sorry.
Yep.
If we're going to do that, then you should pick Tiger.
Seriously, if we're just going to go for the feels and vibes, let's just pick Tiger and JT and John Daly and Freddie Couples, and let's just go vibe. Hell, Zach, pick yourself. Whatever. No, I'm like so anxious. I'm like prepared to be mad. I'm so anxious to see what happens. He said that he's going to try to take his time and he's not necessarily going to pick right away, consider just because the points are ended. He's going to wait until possibly shortly after the Tour Championship this coming up this weekend. My brother's going, by the way, so that's gonna be cool. Hopefully he gets some good pictures. But as it sits right now, the picks, the points 7 through 12 would be Brooks, Jordan Spieth, Cam Young, Morikawa, Keegan Bradley, and Sam Burns. And I'm gonna be honest, if that's who it ends up being, I'd be fine with that. I want Bryson to be in it, but if that's who it ends up being, I'd love to switch Ricky out with somebody, maybe a Keegan or Collins not necessarily playing that great. I don't know that I'd trade Ricky for him, but maybe a Keegan or a Sam Burns, or I don't know what Cam Young's done lately.
He was hanging in there this past weekend, and then he kind of dipped right there at the end. But he was teeing off in the afternoon on Sunday. So
there's only 50 guys. Everybody was teeing off in the afternoon.
Yeah, he had a decent show. He's one of the late tee times. I've forgotten what his finish was. Same thing with Colin. He kind of stepped it up. Now that's the guy that's I think that is in danger here. Is all the rest of them I think are fine if he decides to go with Brooks. I think Sam Burns, at one point in time, he was like over par on the weekend. So
yeah,
if Sam Burns sticks his foot in the dirt this week and finishes over par, finishes out of 30 players, finishes 20 or worse, you got to look at picking Ricky Fowler.
I see no way Sam Burns makes this team short of winning this next week. I said there's no way.
I think he's either got to, I don't know that necessarily he's got to win, Kyle, but he's got to go. He's got to finish top 5, if not finish second, probably through a playoff at the end. Like
and then have a great interview. A great interview. Answer every text on time.
Yes.
Never leave him on red. All your emails.
Yeah.
Everything. You better the group me or the WhatsApp that y'all have for the Ryder Cup, you better be checking it. You better have your alerts turned on. Don't miss a text. Because that has to be the worst feeling to be 12. What's worse, 12 or what do you feel is worse, being 12th or 13th?
Oh, I think it right this year, it depends on how you're playing. I think if you're 13th, Ricky's probably happy because he had a decent showing this past weekend. He plays well in Atlanta. So if he plays well there, it's almost like you're going to be more pissed if they don't drop Sam Burns. I know he probably buddies with him and all that, but I think this year it's 12th. I think a lot of other times it probably is, the 13th guy because they may just go the next 6 down. And
but I don't think that happens very often.
I don't think it does either.
I think they just drop 6 straight next. I just don't think they take 7 through 12. I think you're all because you don't want to be, you want to look like you tried. So you got have these crazy outlandish type pick. Well, if you make one pick outside that, 12's typically out. So I would love to go back and see how often does number 12 actually get picked. I would love to know that statistic because I bet you it's not as much as you think it is.
And I think I told you a couple of pods ago, this year, I think anybody now I'd move it up. I said 10 and below should be worried. I'd say 9 and below because Cam Young, what you just said, I'd say anybody outside the top 8.
Yeah.
You should be worried about your spot.
Yeah.
Because
you should.
I know that Kyle and I've made fun of it and he hadn't played well, but there's just something in my gut that says Zach Johnson has been getting texts and emails and, as you said, WhatsApps and probably personal visits over to his house about Justin Thomas. I got to be honest with you. And then Lucas Glover, the way he's played the last 3 weeks, he's in there at 16, but you just don't know. And so, you got guys like Glover, Thomas, and Fowler that could literally move up into that top 12. So if you're 9 and down, you should be worried.
Let me ask you this. I saw somebody pose this question. If you take Brooks, I don't know that I buy this a ton, but if you take Brooks, do you need to take another live guy so that they can play together? Or do you think you could just mix Brooks in and he should be fine? Do you think chemistry-wise, could that be a reason that he doesn't pick him? I want to pick another live guy, but there's, DJ didn't play well, or he doesn't play with Taylor Gooch, but Bryson, whatever. I mean, do you buy any of that? Do you think, or would you feel like you had to take a guy to pair with him, or do you feel like that's a bunch of baloney and that's kind of blown out of proportion? He could probably play with anybody. That's him and Ricky.
I think that's
Ricky Fowler's from it. Doesn't Ricky Fowler live in the same area as him? They could probably.
Yeah, they all them and I mean every one of them in that Jupiter area, and DJ Brooks, all those guys. I mean Ron lives down there with them. I mean, it's one of those deals where at this point they all kind of know one another off the course anyway. So if he's part of the Florida crew, so I'm sure you compare him with anybody that lives in that particular area. The one that, the things that you got to worry about, I'd be instead of worried about Brooks being a team guy, I'd be more worried about the Brian Harmons and the Wyndham Clarks of the world that have never done this and are about to go on foreign soil. And I understand Brian Harmon had a great amateur career and played in a lot of match play events and played on various teams at that time. That was 20 years ago, man. That guy ain't no spring chicken. I mean,
doesn't hit it far at all.
Yeah, and he doesn't hit it far. So the
putt's great. Great.
Yeah, he does.
I feel like he'd be a great alternate shot guy.
Brooks has been good. I mean, another reason you look at taking him over there, they're playing in Italy. I mean, when he started his career, that's what he did. He played on the European tour.
Yeah.
He's familiar over there playing all that, those courses. He's probably one of the few on there that during his time, probably one of the few Americans that's probably actually played this course. I don't know that for a fact, but with him spending 4 or 5 years over there overseas, he's probably played this course at least once.
Sure.
So that's another reason that I don't, you and I were talking about, I think that team chemistry thing at this level that these guys are at, I don't think that's as much of a thing as people think it is. Cause I think once they lace them up that week and they put on all the same uniforms, I think that they're like brothers in arms anyway, especially when you're on the road because nobody likes you. So the only people you can depend on are going to be your teammates in the locker room. So I don't know that. No, I'm not. To answer your question, I'm not buying into him taking another live guy because there ain't another live guy that deserves to be on there.
Sure.
I mean, if you're going to do that, I know that we love Taylor Gooch, but that ain't a household name. You got to take somebody that everybody hates. Patrick Reed, Mr. America, Captain America. I mean, he's
been pretty consistent on live. He's played not very great in the majors, but he's third in points overall.
I mean, Patrick Reed is Ian Poulter from the European team. How Ian never had great. I mean, he's never won on state soil. So, but when it got Ryder Cup time, that dude showed up, and I think Patrick Reed's the type guy. So if you're gonna pick somebody, take somebody like him, or like you and I talking about, he's not playing great. Then you take DJ because he was undefeated the last Ryder Cup.
How cool would it be to have Brooks and Bryson playing together though? After the beef, now they're kind of friends. You've seen the jokes. He's wearing the Brooks,
and they've been paired together quite a bit on live, so they kind of get along. And that may be the one if he does
lose. That team would not lose.
No, I don't think they would. And I think if you are going to take a guy, you got to look at somebody like him. But boy, how pissed is somebody like Keegan Bradley, who just eats, breathes, and sleeps America. Like, hey, almost got into a fight with what's his name, the mechanic. Remember that he and his caddy that got into a fight with the European, the older Jimenez. I mean, he just loves America. And if you say, nope, you're out, and guess who we're going to take? Bryson in your place. He may go fight Zach Johnson. We might not have to worry about doing it.
So, before we're going to talk a little bit more about it. Before we do, I want to give a shout out to Bad Birdie Golf Apparel. Guys, I don't know what else can be said about these guys. I mean, the polos are sick. They're constantly dropping new ones. They got awesome. They're about to drop a fall line of new pullovers. They were getting rid of the old pullovers just a few weeks ago, and now they're going to be bringing in all the new stuff for a little bit cooler weather. You better be ready for it. Use coupon code DADS, DADS plural, DADS 15. Take 15% off your orders with them. I got like 6 or 7 of the polos. I love every one of mine.
Yep.
I'm going to have to get me some pullovers for whenever it gets a little cooler. Can't wait for it. But you definitely need to check them out. Bad Birdies. It's where golf fashion starts.
That's not their slogan, but Kyle calls them that every time.
All right. So, considering there's a good chance I could be Team Europe, I want to look at this Euro team and just see.
If you know anybody's name on there besides John Rahm and
is there a chance?
Rory McIlroy.
Is there a chance they could win? And when I'm looking at this squad, it's looking pretty like it could be pretty stout. Let's just run down who it looks like it could possibly be. Obviously, you got Rory and Rahm. Those two. I don't know who you.
Hold on. Let me just stop you right there.
Okay.
The fact that you just made that statement.
What?
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Why?
This team could be pretty stout. There's no chance this team could be stout.
Well, let me read the names. Let me read off the names. Okay. You got Rory and Rahm. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you got Victor Hovland, who just set the course record at
61. 61 and could have been a 59.
Yeah. Left a few out there on the back nine. Shot 28. Hey, if you're going to shoot 28, why not go ahead and shoot 26? I mean, if you're going to shoot 7 under, just go ahead and shoot 9. Like, what's the point? If
that bogey was awful or par.
If you get that low, I mean, just go ahead and birdie all of them. Seriously, you clearly have the talent. Anyway, I digress. All right, so you got those 3. Then you got Tommy Fleetwood, Matt Fitzpatrick. Those are two.
Yeah, Fitzy, he played pretty well this weekend.
Those are two solid ones. Tyrrell Hatton, probably, can play good at times. I feel like he's possibly, probably played pretty good in the Cup before. I don't know. Sepp Straka, Shane Lowry, Justin Rose, and then I don't know where you go 10 through 12. I mean, there's a lot of different options 10 through 12, but that's not a bad, especially with some of your superstars are not playing good for the Team USA. And it's over there, which this is going to be the least over there Ryder Cup maybe ever, because it's in Rome. It looks like an American course, and it's going to be like between 65 and 75 degrees every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And probably pretty good weather. I think from what I say, October is like a really spectacular month season in Italy. I looked it up because I was kind of hoping for some treachery, but I don't think there's going to be any. So I don't know, man. That top 8, when you couple how Team USA's playing right now, some of the top guns, I think it may be more interesting than we think it is. Just saying.
Let me ask you this: does Luke Donald have to pick the 28th ranked player, Guido Migliozzi, because he's the only Italian on there? I mean, you got to have an Italian on the team, right?
You got to, if you have an Italian Ryder Cup, you got to pick the bro named Guido. It's just, if you don't, you basically should just be booted. You should just be booted.
He has not played well this year, but he is literally the only Italian flag on the entire lineup of your. Kyle, when you get down into the 40s, these guys don't even have pictures next to their name. This is ridiculous, man. I will give you 6 of those guys, the Rory and Rahm, and Hovland. There's 3 that are playing really well right now. Yep. Tommy's already proved to me a couple of times this year that when the pressure's on, he just doesn't have a way to step it up. He's consistent. He's consistent, and he's probably not going to cost you a match, but I don't know that he's a guy that can go out and win you a match. Yeah. And then Shane Lowry actually plays fairly well. He's another one of those European guys that during Ryder Cup and President's Cup play, he kind of steps up his game a little bit. Tyrrell Hatton, the Mad Hatter, we have no idea what dude's going to show up. So he could go out there and be over par the entire Ryder Cup, or he could go light the course up for all we know. So
he just had a blow up.
Yeah.
What was it over? He had a blow up at the BMW.
How HBO hasn't approached him to mic him up and just have him to do a Hard Knocks golf, I have no idea. It'd be absolutely phenomenal. The way he talks to himself and the things that he says would be absolutely phenomenal.
Oh man, I would watch. I think it was his FedEx Cup standing. He found out I think he was just out. Maybe he was just outside or something like that. Is that possibly what it was? And kind of got mad and.
Let's see.
He finished.
Because only the top 30 make it. No, he's in. He's in this week. Yeah, he was out, and he didn't find out till afterwards that he was in. He was happy.
He had a blow up. I know that's not a news flash.
No, he blew up on 18 because he thought he was out.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
He had his hat off and was cussing walking down the fairway, and it was he had a meltdown. And turns out that a couple other guys ahead of him did not finish well, and so he jumped in there. I mean, his buddy Justin Rose ended up kind of pushing him in there because Justin faltered down the stretch. So he ended up making it, but he barely made it. He's in there at that number 28 spot. Spieth was the same way. Spieth was out and then just got in at the last second.
I wonder if there's betting odds on the Ryder Cup futures right now.
Oh, that's a good question.
Keep giving some takes. Keep giving some takes while I'm looking.
Well, I was going back to this European. After that, I don't really see anybody that is going to jump out. I would give you 6, but then when you have to go 7 through 12, I just don't know that they're. I mean, as I said, some of these guys up here at the top, and the four, and Robert McIntyre and Yannick Paul 3 and 4. Those guys walk into a room right now, they could be in full golf gear with all their sponsors, and I still wouldn't know who they are. And so I'm just curious what Luke Donald plans on doing. And again, you got one Italian that's even in the top 30. Do you take him? Because we were talking about those feel good picks, like a Justin Thomas would be for the Americans. How they would like to get him on the team.
Yeah.
Or is that Italian guy the guy that is your feel good pick? And if it is, I like my chances of Justin Thomas against a guy that I've never heard of, but his name is Guido, so you could have an issue with him.
Hey, now here's something interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have, I'm on Bet Online right now, and I'm trying to look up like futures bets on, the Ryder Cup. And I don't see it yet. It's probably not up. It's probably not going to be up yet until all the picks are in, but it does have bets on who the captain's picks will be. So this is interesting. So based off Vegas right now, you got Jordan Spieth at minus 2,500 as a pick. We obviously think that's a lock. You got Cam Young at minus 1,000. So he's the second most locked in is Cam Young. Okay. Colin Morikawa minus 800. That's the third most. Ricky Fowler minus 800. Okay. So you got Spieth, Cam Young, Colin Morikawa, Ricky Fowler, Brooks Koepka at minus 500, and Justin Thomas at minus 225. Everybody else is plus odds. Sam Burns plus 150, Keegan Bradley plus 225, Lucas Glover plus 350. I think that's pretty daggum interesting. I think that's
told you he's going to pick JT. I told you. Vegas is saying it. I'm saying it.
Vegas is saying, like, by the skin of his teeth, it looks like.
Although it also says, man, you gotta. They can't piss the captain off. Not just that, these guys can't piss the future captain off. But I wouldn't be surprised if an elder statesman like Glover or Keegan, if they don't make their opinion heard, because they're probably the next time around they're probably not going to get picked. They're probably not going to be played. They're going to be older. They got nothing to lose. I mean, unless they were playing the long game and looking to maybe be a captain sometime down the road. But they're not going to take a guy that's never played in the Ryder Cup and put him as a captain. So I do wonder if they take that bitter old man approach and they're like, this is horse hockey. It's all political. Can't believe they took J2, who's playing like ass, over me. I do wonder if that would. Lucas Glover's not, because he doesn't have that personality. But if Keegan does not, if he's just outside or he's chosen as like an alternate, I bet he's pissed.
Sure. I did find it said that USA's minus 163 right now. Minus 163 to plus 163 favorites at Rome, Italy.
That's still big because if you look at it, what you did the stat, when's the last time we won on foreign soil? I mean, it's been like 30 years. It's been.
I figured it's been. Well, I would guess we probably haven't won since they added it. When did they add all of Europe?
Oh man, I don't know.
I bet.
Yeah, the last time
I bet we've only won maybe once.
Yeah, since 93, it looks like. Since we won on.
It would have to be, we won back to back in 91 and 93. So it would have to be one of those years.
Yeah.
But so I don't know when
that's amazing that they're favoring them on foreign soil. It's got to be because the bettors are looking at the Ryder Cup roster and the Team European roster like I am and going, that's great. They got 6 good players. After that, I mean, again, I like the America's 20th guy over Europe's 12th guy.
If you just 91 was War by the Shore. That was the one at Kiowa. They built that course just for that.
Mm-hmm.
See, we're 90. So 93 was in England. Okay. So yeah, we won in 93. And then they did have Spanish and German players. So that's probably one of the only times. I don't know. I need to go back and keep looking at whenever they combined it, because it used to be just like, when it Ireland and like Scotland, like at some point in time. And then they lobbied to have, because we were beating them so bad all the time. And then they brought in the rest of Europe to make it a little bit more even. And then we could stop being able to win. Made it tough.
Brought in some decent players.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll have to see what happens. We got about a week until we know. But I'm already looking up team Europe gear. I'm gonna be ready to go. I'm gonna be team.
Buddy, you better get your credit card ready.
Yep. Yeah, we can talk about those $350 Team USA hoodies.
That's $368 to you, bud. $368 plus tax. That's $400 that you about to drop on a hoodie.
Good gracious. All right. Well,
and it's not even good looking.
No, it's not. It's not. I made that point. We'll talk again soon. Check back. We'll probably be back tomorrow. And hopefully there's a little bit more Ryder Cup stuff to talk about, or we can just continue to talk about how dumb the Tour Championship format is. So
I do wonder if Zach Johnson gets a little pressure. I know he said early next week, possibly Tuesday, maybe even Monday, that he may make some picks. When you look it up online, it's being peppered like on ESPN.com, golfchannel.com. Like, I do wonder if somebody's in his ear going, you need to start leaning one way or another. Now, he was smart enough to say, I still want to see how guys, even though the points don't count, I want to see how guys play at the FedEx Cup Championship. So maybe he is legit doing that, or he may already have his 6 picks sitting in a notebook somewhere, and he's just buying time, and this just gave him an excuse to kind of put it off till next week. I mean, we forget this is not till late September, so he's got a while.
Sure.
So we shall see. I mean, because even that's the good thing about it. That's another reason I think the Americans are favored, Kyle. I don't know, we got to go, but Luke Donald's not having these. Nobody's asking him, who are you picking? They don't care. Nobody cares who he's picking.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
no
all
talk,
it's all about the Americans, and so that's another reason that the Americans are probably favored, because people are really worried what they're going to put out as far as a product when they go overseas.
Yep. All right, let's get out of here. Appreciate you guys listening. This is episode 295 of the Dad Bod Golf Pod, and we're always
Stroking.